Hello, whoever happens to be watching this video. I put this together to show how I go about mixing down a sermon using Capture and Audacity. So first off, we open up Capture. The board isn't on, so we just hit no. Choose which service we want and click it. Capture will eventually open it up. Now the wireless microphones are on channels, I believe it is 13, 14, and 15. Eventually I will hit the little S, which stands for solo. Now those are the tracks that we're going to export. So we click on Session, Export Tracks, and it's going to go ahead and export those out. It will only export the tracks that you click the little S next to. So all the other ones it's not going to worry about. It's just going to bring out the wireless mics, which is exactly what we want. And in this one, this is actually, I think channel 15 is typically the one that's used, but multiple people spoke on this day. So I just pulled all three of them, and then we'll pull the audio out of them. So we open up Audacity, highlight all three tracks, just click and drag them into Audacity. As you'll see, it will import them in one at a time. So if you're doing a larger, like a band set, this takes quite some time. But as far as just doing like this, like spoken voice, it's not that bad. You will have to deal with a little bit of computer lag issues because as it's importing the tracks, it does take a little bit of CPU power. So be patient when you click and drag those tracks into Audacity. Be patient for that. So as you see on the top track, we do have some audio. On the track below that, there's some audio at the very beginning, but really nothing in the middle. And then on this last audio, I assume there will be more speaking. And then we can kind of put together what it looks like. Right off the bat, I'm guessing the second track there is announcements. So we'll go up to Effect and Amplify. Just use whatever the computer sets in there. Click OK. Again, this will take some time as well. But basically, this is going to make the audio as loud as possible without hurting it, essentially. Now you can see that there's a little bit more audio there than you could see before. This one looks like it's the announcements or a blurb prior to the sermon. I'm guessing the one up top, this is going to be the sermon, and then the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and adjust the bass and treble. Again, use the default values. And this is going to add a little bit of volume to it so it doesn't seem so flat. It's going to EQ it out a little bit better. So when people play it on the website or wherever they play or listen to it, it's going to sound a little bit better. It does take some time. So just sit back and relax. Usually while I'm doing this, I'll also have like Gmail up, and then I'll be sending the emails and doing doing stuff like that, getting things ready for the final mix down. Or simply reading my emails because I'm cool like that. Okay, now that that is completed, we're going to see where we're at. So
Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday to all of
Pete
you.
right now. So this is this right here is the sermon. This
abiding
is
belief
singing
within her that God always,
and something that happened
always,
prior to
always
church.
had her best in mind. An abiding
answers to the tough questions in life.
So this is the second part of the audio as well. And that's going to be on the bottom track. Actually, I think this might be the sermon.
Good morning, chatty people.
Yep. So this is a sermon. So everything behind that we're going to go ahead and delete. So if you just click and drag and then move the mouse up and over, you can highlight all of them and you hit the delete key and it all goes away.
Store it up to use against somebody or to protect ourselves. And I think the Lord wants to meet us in that place too and begin to...
So that's Justin at the end. And that's Don singing.
About this time, how you become a listener.
But now what we need to do is we need to find where he stops talking.
A little bit of time out of your day to listen to someone. We're going to worship,
And then we're going to go ahead and edit that out as well.
If you want prayer for how to live, love, and listen like Jesus, please come forward. These folks would love to pray for you. Or if you have any other need this morning, we welcome you to come forward. Thank you and have a great week.
So there's the end of the sermon. And we'll just note where the green line is. And then we're going to go ahead and delete the rest of this because it's all the end. It has really nothing to do with the sermon. And what I'm doing here is I'm going in and seeing how these line up. So we're going to quiet this up a little bit, maybe. Maybe not. I thought we were going to quiet that up. It would have been smart. So this is going to be Don's wife speaking right here. So what we're going to do is this area, while Don's wife is speaking, you can see there's some audio. So we highlighted it and we hit Control L. And what that did is it silenced that audio right there. Now we're going to highlight the end of this and we're going to do a fade out. So we're going to go to generate, yep, there we go, fade out. And it's going to go ahead and make it nice. And then we're going to delete that other track there that had nothing on it by pressing the little X to the top left. Then we'll clean up the beginning as well.
As Pete Benedict mentioned, my name's Don Weber. I'm 26 years old.
Yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and delete that. or just fade in on it.
Morning, chatty people.
Okay, so we're going to fade in on that. And we'll do a fade in and a fade out just to add a little bit of panache to it, I guess. And that is pretty much how you mix down 2 tracks of audio for the sermon. Now that we have that all mixed down, I believe at this point we're going to go ahead and export it. And click File, Export Audio. I already have everything set up to save it as an MP3. So we just go to Sermons, and we're going to go ahead and name it. I leave the date, and then I go ahead and add in whoever was speaking and the name of the sermon, if there was one. If there wasn't one, I just kind of make one up based on the tips and the notes. When you hit save, now these are going to be the tags that people see. So I go ahead and add in Don Weber's name as the artist. The track title I will go ahead and add in as what I had already filled out on the last screen as soon as I remember it. No, see. Yeah, there you go. Now you're thinking, Joe. So we're going to put the track title in, Praying and Living Like Jesus. Listening like Jesus. And then the album title I usually set the same as River Heights Vineyard Sermon. Leave the track number blank, add in the year, type in sermon for the genre, and then I add in the website in the comments. And all this information people see if they download the MP3 or play it in a player that will recognize that information. So I put it in there just as a way for us to get maybe a little bit more viewership to the website, as well as if anybody else wants that information, so it just doesn't show up as null on their player. And you hit OK, and it's going to go ahead and export it as an MP3. You don't need to change any of the MP3 settings. Everything is already set. As soon as you hit go, it goes. And it's going to go ahead and save it into the folder that we selected before we started editing all that information. And there you go. And we close that out, close that out. And now if you go to this folder right here, Joe's Sermon MP3s, go into Sermons, it's going to be right there at the top. And then you can go ahead and copy it into the Dropbox and add it to the website. And there you are.